I have a really exciting video for you. In this video, we're talking about this new prop firm that was literally started in January of 2021. I have an interview with the owner, Mike, of FXSeed. So let's go ahead and start the interview. Before we started recording, Mike and I were talking about how he found out about Trade Connect VVS, my YouTube channel, in the first place. This was his response.
5 top like funding company videos that you had did, like when you went over the review of like 5 different companies, and it was some companies that I didn't even know about. Like the main ones that I knew about were obviously like FTMO, and then what was one of the other City Traders, Embrim. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I've never really heard of them, so I had like looked into them, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like they fund you up to $2 million. So it gave me some insight. Like, okay, these are some of the things that I'm going to take from this place, this place, this place, and kind of mold it all together.
Other than my channel, what else inspired you to create your own prop firm company?
So I got into like trading Forex like 6 years ago, back when I was studying music in college, and got into it. And then as you continue to trade, and then I think like maybe 2 years ago, I found out like there's this thing called funding companies, and I'm like, I've been spending my hard-earned money all these years, and I'm like, I could have paid a small portion to get into funding. So when I started my own Forex Academy called Millennial Game Changers Academy, I started that, and just because of friends and families were asking like, yo, I really want to learn this trading thing. So I was like, okay, I'm tired of everybody coming over the house and me doing in-person sessions, especially when the pandemic had hit. I was like, yeah, I just need to put this online. So I did that. And then a lot of my students and even friends were like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get an FTMO account, and then this, that, and the third. And I was like, okay, cool. So I had set up like a little channel where I helped them pass the challenge. And like I said, FTMO is great. It was just the a few things that I just didn't like, which was mainly like them kind of like manipulating the market sometimes, in my opinion. And then when you trade on a demo account, if you're looking at like Trading View, or if you're looking somewhere else at prices and things like that, or even if someone's following a Telegram channel where they're like trading like indices, the prices are totally different on FTMO. And students were like, hey, you said to buy at this price. That number is nowhere close to what's on my FTMO. And I'm like, yeah, it's totally different. Like, it just buy, but just know that it's going to be a totally different number. So like that, and then like the main thing was them like, obviously, closing the market during times where there was like high news, and even when like certain currencies were like really going through a lot and they were just like really crazy, they were just like, yeah, you can't trade this pair. And I'm like, man, like for somebody that knows how to use minimum risk, that's just not fair, in my opinion. So I was like, you know what, I really want to like kind of like start my own thing, and like create something for the client, and like create something for the trader. Like when I started FXSeed, like I'll tell you right now, it's not to benefit me. Like the reason why the business is called FXSeed is from a biblical standpoint. Because I grew up in church, and the Bible talks about, having faith of a mustard seed and planting that seed and believing that it can grow into this enormous plant, and be like fruitful. So my whole aspect with creating FXSeed is to create a platform and create a place where the trader and the client can come plant their, pay that small fee and plant that seed, and watch this thing grow into, like my goal is for everybody to max their account out, because it gives you that financial freedom that everyone is kind of looking for. And and I'll say this too, because we're recording it, like FXE does not profit from that fee. Like when I tell you the fees that I had to take care of the back end when setting everything up, I literally, I think I profit $2 on those accounts. Like, so it's not like I'm having people pay $500, $600, and I'm only, paying $20 in fees or, in the back end. No, like all of that is literally taking care of everything, even for the account management. Like that's all covering the software that we have to use to connect everyone's accounts and things like that, as well as like the whole like client portal and things like that we're working on. Like I don't profit from any of this. I make my money strictly from music and trading my own personal accounts. It's not like, oh yeah, this is another scam. Because like when you start a new funding company, people are going to be on the fence about it, which is completely understandable, which is why I'm like, hey, you know what? I just want to show people. So I'm like, hey, let's just whoever signs up, let's give them the best experience we can, because these are people that can kind of help your company and let people know like, hey, this is a legitimate company. Like even though we just started well, technically January, because I started it at like December 28th. So this is at the end of the year. But like just to see the progress that we've made in these last 2 months, it's literally amazing. Like we have almost 200 clients that are, taking a leap of faith and trusting like, hey, that this is going to work out. And it really is. Like I said, I'm excited. We've already got some traders that are in phase 2 of the challenge. So like I said, I can't wait till they go live so they can get those profits.
So just for explaining for everyone, the phase 2, is that very similar to the verification phase with FTMO?
Yes, FTMO, theirs is set to another 10 days. FXSeed is set to 20 days. So you need to trade it a minimum of 20 days. Just to make the 5%. Just because I want to make sure, because what I've seen with a couple traders that have taken the challenge is that they will use high risk in the beginning just to hit that target. And then what they'll do is they'll start using micro lots. And in my opinion, I'm like, you're not really showing me that you can be consistent. You're just showing me you can, potentially hit 5% in 2 or 3 days. And then my thing is, I want to see you trade and really trade for 20 days, and use the same level of risk over those 20 days, so I can see like, okay, yeah, this person, made 5% day 2, but then they lost 3% on day 4, and then they made 8%, over the next, 5 or 7 days. Like that's giving me good data to be able to like I said, like these are live accounts, like these are $100,000 live accounts, $50,000 live accounts, and I want to be able to entrust those funds to somebody that at the end of the day can be consistent. Like I'm what we're looking for are consistent traders that at the end of the day can grow the account so that they can hit that $1 million mark, as well as so that they can be a part of the business for a long term. I'm looking for long term opportunities with people, just like FTMO, they trade and like other companies, funding talent, things like that. They're not looking for people to pass the challenge and then be live for 2 months, because that's not like it kind of defeats the purpose, because then you fail and then you got to go through it all over again, and then you do the same thing. You're live for 2 months because you're increasing your risk instead of using good risk management and just slowly growing the account. Having 1% over 10 days makes you pass the challenge in 10 days compared to some traders that I've had to have some conversations with on risk management, shooting for 10% in one day.
I know quite a few people that do that exact strategy that you just described, where they maybe over risk for the beginning, and then they want to just use those minimum size lots to progress. What happens in that circumstance? What do you usually say to them, or what does FXSeed actually do in those circumstances?
So in those circumstances, like we just added it to the FAQ section because, like I said, I was seeing that pattern, just because, you have a lot of traders coming from FTMO to try this new company, and they're going to do the same things that they did with FTMO to pass. Yeah, it's not allowed. I know it sucks. I had traders like, dude, that really sucks. You telling me I can't use 0.0? I'm like, no, like, because I need to see good, like realistic data. Like if you were trading a live account, live $100,000 account, you're not going to be using micro lots. Like you be using minis or standard lots. Like you wouldn't realistically, make 10% in 2 days and then like, oh, the rest of this week I'm gonna use micro lots. So what I tell people is, hey, trade it as if it's actually live. Trade as if it's live. So use the same risk that you would use. Have those bubbly guts that you would have on a live account if you see yourself $500 in the hole. Don't be like, oh, I'm 500 in the hole. Oh well, it's a demo. Because by you treating it as if it's a live account, we've seen people have more success passing challenges. And I mean, even when I took the FTMO challenge myself, years ago, like just treating it when I was treating it like it was fake money, I always failed. But when I started treating it like, okay, you know what? If I really had $100,000, I wouldn't do a 10 right here. I wouldn't do a standard lot of 10. I wouldn't do a standard lot of 15 because I'm like, I don't want to lose $3,000. So technically, like, so yeah, it's not allowed to do that. If you do that, if you, let's say you hit the 10% day 3 and then for the next 7 days you use micro lots, I'm not counting those 7 days. You will have to trade another, you will have to continue trading, and then you would get an email stating, hey, you need to go back to trading realistically and using regular lot sizes and your normal level of risk that got you to the 10%, so that we can see good data.
One of the worst parts about some other companies, such as Funny Talent's old model, is that they had the rather subjective model where they would actually say that they'll look at your performance, and if it wasn't consistent in their opinion, then they would disqualify you. And a lot of people really didn't like that rule. So I haven't read your FAQ yet. Does it have any specific numbers? Do you have to use all 0.10s and up, or does it have to be all a certain percentage similar to other ones, or do you define that, or is it still up to the general opinion?
No, so how I set it up to be more so like just being consistent. If you start like, if you got 10% because you were doing, let's say you did 50s like minis all the way around and you got the 10%, and like I said, you got it early, still stay within that range. Don't go to micros, but you can, like you can lower it to, maybe you want to use 25s or 20s just to protect the profit that you made. That's understandable, because at the end of the day, even if you are on a live account and let's say you're up 10 grand and you still want to, and you still see some opportunities, but you want to protect that 10 grand you made already, you're going to use small, a little bit of a smaller lot. So you're not going to go to micro, but if you're using 50s and 60s, normally you'll probably go to half that and do like, 40s and 30s and things like that. So yeah, no, it's like I said, I'm just looking for consistency around like the whole yard. I'm just looking for consistency in that aspect. So no, it's I'm not like but that's why I also have like the 50% positive day too, because that helps me see like, okay, out of the 20 days you traded, 15 days were positive, or 10 days were positive, or 9 days were positive. Okay, well, you need to trade 2 more days and make sure those 2 days are positive to kind of put you, above that 50% mark. So that's kind of how, like, mine is already in there. So it's not like opinion based after you've already passed it. You will know if you are technically going to pass the challenge if you're at the 50% mark, and if you stay consistent with your trading until you hit that 10%.
That makes a lot of sense. So is it really just about the lot size staying consistent, or is it also about the total percentage risk based off of stop loss distance as well?
It's really just about the lot size used, in my opinion, because I know stop losses is different because that's all based off of your trading style. And then, because if you're a swing trader, you're gonna have wider stop losses. If you're a scalper, you have tighter stop losses. So I don't base it more off of like the whole like lot size, like risk parameters. It's mainly based off of you being consistent and obviously growing and hitting that target of 10%, and just keeping your lot sizes in a normal, respectable place that where they would actually be if you were live.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I think it's people don't really have an issue with the consistency rule per se. It's mostly about the objectiveness of it, or excuse me, subjectiveness of it.
Yeah.
Where they want to know exactly how much am I allowed to use plus or minus from my average, or to know my average so I can understand where am I allowed to use, how big, how small, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I'll probably put some examples in the FAQ so that people can kind of get a picture of where, like, okay, if I'm using standard lots and I hit the 10%, okay, so the example might show, 40s and like half that 40s and 50s, just to protect the just to make sure. And again, I mean, even though it's like my company, like it's like even though you're not supposed to say this, but like even if you just shoot for 10 pips, like that's fine. That's fine. Like I said, it's still like you're still using a practical lot size, and you're still doing a practical trade. And it's not like you're doing a 50 and you're just waiting for it to go 30 cents in the profit and you're closing it. It's like, no, like, if you like, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna get these 10 pips, and maybe like maybe you got a 10 pip stop loss, or maybe you shooting for 20 pips and you got a 10 pip stop. Hey, like that's okay, because at the end of the day, what I'm looking for, like I'm looking at data, and the risk team, they're looking at all of these trades, and because they don't know the trader, they're going to figure you out and figure out if you are um good risk for the company based off of how you are trading. And it's like you have to, and a lot of people don't understand it. And the thing is, I didn't understand it, when I tried those other companies out. But now that I'm looking at everything from the back end, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to give $100,000 to somebody that literally is going to do those particular no things, in my opinion, because when they go live, like I said, it's a 50-50 chance that they can be consistent or not. And we want there to be 100% chance that you can be consistent. We know that we can't control the market and things like that, but the one thing that we can control is our risk management. So
That makes sense. So you mentioned previously that you've had a mentorship as well as music before. Is that where all the money is coming for these accounts, or is there another? Do you have investors, or what's the main situation there?
So I had to put up a decent amount of money from my music career. I'm signed to Capitol Records. My band called it's a Christian worship band called Cross Worship. And a couple years back, we went viral on YouTube and things like that. And actually, this past week, our viral video just hit 40 million views.
Wow.
So I get a decent amount of royalties from that. But yeah, I had to put up a decent amount of of like liquidation on my end, and then I got a couple investors, just from different countries and things like that. Well, mainly Canada, because I don't, yeah, because language barriers. Mainly Canada, and some other companies in the United States to just do some private lending and things like that. And they understand like the risks and things like that. So that's where the funds are coming from.
Very interesting. So how long did you manage your mentorship program, and are you still doing that?
The mentorship program, yeah, I still have it. I haven't uh, put out any new content in the last couple of months, just because FXSeed has been a big attention thing right now. But yeah, I still have it. Like Millennial Game Changers, it's still out there. The course is still there. It's great. I still have students and things like that. So I still have my Telegram channel. where I call signals from time to time and things like that. So it's still there. Like the goal over the next couple of months is to get back to doing that once I get FXSeed fully like automated and just everything is running smooth, then I can get back to, all right, guys, let's get back to trading.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I have a mentorship as well. Mine is VVS Academy, and that's what I currently manage. It's my one of my the thing that takes most of my time is basically dedicated to that, even more than my YouTube career.
Yeah, I checked it out
Mhm.
from your videos, and I was like, oh yeah, this is nice. It's very organized, very organized. Yeah.
Thanks, I appreciate that. So another thing I want to ask about is with these investors, did they have any very strict requirements? Is that mainly why you have the certain rules in place, or is it only because of your own self deciding what those rules are?
Mixture of both.
Mhm.
They gave me certain like parameters and things like that because they did put up a decent amount of the funds, as well as because my money is in this as well. Um, it's a mixture of both. They have certain parameters just because they funded other prop firms that they have said that they have funded. So they've learned from some mistakes and things like that, and they also have to change rules with some of those other prop firms. So they have certain things, and then some things I got them to change on because coming from traders world going over like, hey, I'm a trader, so I don't like that rule. That rule doesn't really sit too well with me. I think we should tweak a couple things. Still keep the risk there, and still let people know. But yeah, it's kind of a mixture of both. And like I said, it's things are constantly changing. Not saying that the business is not stable, but understanding that um, you can always do something better and that there's always a rule that can be improved and things like that. So like we moved from MT4 over to MT5. That was a big change. A lot of people didn't like it, but I had to explain like, hey, MT5 is great. It's not like it's terrible. We're just as traders, you're more comfortable with MT4 because that's just what you started with. Before MT5 came out, it was MT4. So that was one of the biggest things. But since I've been on MT5, there are a lot of things that you can do on MT5 that you cannot do on MT4. It's like really great, like being like from the chart view, like I could put a buy limit in and I can actually touch the screen and place my stop loss and place my taper. I don't even have to type in numbers. So you can
Mhm.
actually look visually if you're looking for like a certain like support area or like a good like resistance area, like okay, yeah, I will really, yeah, this is where I want to get in at because I'm seeing a lot of rejection right here and I'm seeing a lot of supply and demand. Okay, yeah. So it's really good, in my opinion, just to be ahead of the game whenever MT5 does kind of become more of the overall standard for everybody. We don't have to move 1,000 clients over to a whole new platform. We're already there. We're working on getting Seed Trader because I know a lot of traders have asked about that because Seed Trader is great. It has the trailing stop losses and all that great stuff. So we are working on that. It's just when brokers is very time consuming getting getting new software updated and things like that. We did as soon as we moved to MT5, we had some commission issues with the indices because we made indices available. At first, it was just Forex and gold. But because I saw, not that I'm trying to compete with FTMO, but at the end of the day, when you see FTMO, you see what they offer, you kind of want to offer similar things at a cheaper price. So I seen that they had, indices as well as, crypto. And I was like, okay, what do we need to do to offer this and things like that? So we got it, but it glitched and the commissions were, oh my God, like I put in, I got charged $18,000 for commission on US 30. And I was like, what the heck? And I was like, so we had to go back and fix it and like, code, all that stuff. It can be a dash instead of a slash, and it can mess everything up. So we fixed all that and, gave all the clients the money back that they lost on commission and things like that. But the broker that we use is TC Bridge, which is on MT5, which is great. Like the spreads are amazing in my opinion. Like, I mean, not even in my opinion. I mean, other clients have said that it's like that it's amazing. It's amazing towards me. I just know that a lot of traders, again, I don't like to keep saying FTMO, but this is what everybody's saying. Well, FTMO, you don't see, like, they don't charge commission. And I'm like, well, that's because you're on a demo account and you don't see what's being like. And then I'm like, they're on their server, so they can choose what they want you to see. So I'm like, you don't really even know what you're being charged. But for us, like, we're showing you everything. So yeah, there is commission, $7 per lot. Yeah, they're like, man, that's really high. But I'm like, but the spreads are so tight, man. You can't even put a piece of paper through those, man. That's how tight they are. And just like understanding that, like, we're not marking it up. So it's not like, the contract that we have with TC Bridge, they give us, $3 per lot, and then we're marking it up $4. No, there's no markup for me. It's literally like you're paying exactly what it is, like the normal rates. I'm not doing any markup because, like I said, I'm not in this to make money for myself. I'm in this to start a platform and help other people begin to, move towards that financial freedom.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So MT4 is such an old program. I'm sure you know. I think it's around 15 years or so, and MT5 is around 10 years as well. So even though it's still becoming this new thing, it's already quite antiquated already.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, I'm really excited for you to, if you are working on CTrader, I'm really excited about that. I code in CTrader. I make programs in CTrader that I allow for that I help my my subscribers get, as well as the members within VVS Academy
Nice.
have access to those. And I really like that platform a lot more because you get code in C#, which is a much better language than MQL or MQL 4.5. And so, and it's also much more modern, like you were saying, with the automatic trailing stop loss and a lot of other advanced features. So what is the approximate date that you said you're working on that? Do you know approximately when that is going to be implemented?
We're shooting for like fall. That's the goal. I know fall is it's a span of a couple of months. I like, as we get more into it, it's I'll start to have more of a actual month and date. But I'm looking. We've been talking with the team about it, and I'm hoping that everything can go the way where we have planned for it to go, for us to be able to offer that in, come 2021 fall season. Just because it, like I said, I don't like I had with MT5, I don't want to launch it and then it's some major issues. So like, we're really going to make sure like everything is all the way done with it, because there are people who know how to do some development and coding in it, and some people have their own program that they just want to throw in. So I want to make sure that all of that is in place. So for people who use CTrader, they can throw their EAs and throw their programs in and just, let things roll. So not an actual date, but we're shooting for a particular season. We're shooting for a particular season.
Yeah, that's good. So earlier you mentioned that you have Forex, gold or commodities, and also indices. Are you working on cryptos, stocks, anything extra like that?
Yeah, crypto is in there. You can trade like the main ones like Bitcoin, Ripple, like Ethereum, things like that. Stocks, we haven't talked about it yet. I just haven't like looked into it all the way yet. I know, like, I don't know, the FTMO, did they launch that all the way yet? They
Yes,
did?
FTMO did launch it already. However, there's a little bit of a drawback, which is that they have that 2-hour holding rule that you can't hold anything that closes for more than 2 hours. So of course, stocks do close for more than 2 hours per day. So you can't actually hold the stocks overnight, but you can day trade the stock with FTMO.
Really? That's
yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely look into that and see if I can bypass that. See why they do that 2 hour. Because that's weird to me. Like, if you're doing Okay, anyways, but yeah, I'll look into that to see if that can be something that we add later down the road.
Yeah, I think actually I know the reason why the 2 hour rule is in place. It's so that in case there's a lot of things that happen while the market's closed, that it won't gap by too much, and then that could potentially make them
Ah,
lose extra even past the where you might have your stop loss, for example.
yeah, that is understandable because stocks do gap tremendously. So tremendous gaps. Um, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we are working on new plans. Like I said, we only have the one plan right now, but you can choose two options. But hopefully by May, I've been doing some polls and getting some opinions. And since you have this, add a poll on this as well.
Sure.
And I definitely love, since you've done a lot of other companies, I'd love to get some opinions from you. I am working on more of a standard plan where you have like a longer period for phase one. So instead of doing 30 days, it'd be, maybe, you have up to 60 or 90 days or something like that. And then instead of shooting for 10%, you shoot for more like 7 or 8%, which I've been seeing is kind of becoming more of a popular thing, as well as the leverage would be lower. Of course, it won't be 1 to 100, but it'd maybe be, I don't know, like 1 to 25, maybe 1 to 50 or 10 or something like that. I haven't really thought on it yet. But yeah, having that as an option, doing that. And then, like I said, and then we have the instant plan that's coming out as well in May as well. So that you'll instantly be able to get funded $50,000. It's a subscription thing. You instantly be able to get that. And then the leverage on that will be 1 to 10 on that. And yeah, and you'll be able to, and you'll keep 60% of the profits every single month. And you don't have to wait until the end of the month to get paid out as well. So you can, do the 5% blocks, as soon as you, get into profit, things like that. So those are some things coming down the pipeline.
That sounds like some really exciting stuff. I think a lot of people will be very excited to hear that. I know a lot of people like a lot of people like the monthly. A lot of people like the instant funded. A lot of people like that kind of thing instead.
Yeah.
So we talked previously about before the call. We talked about the Master Trader program. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so the Master Trader program, it's a program on the accounts of the $50,000 account and $100,000 accounts, because those are the only two account balances that can be scaled up to $1 million. So the program is, I created the program for clients who have no knowledge of trading, or people who just don't have the time to trade. Maybe they have a little bit of knowledge, but people who work the 9 to 5 type ordeal, and they're looking for some extra funds to maybe get them over this hump with the pandemic, or they're looking to take these profits and fund their dreams, and move to be full-time entrepreneur, things like that, self-employed. So the program they set up right now, we have 6 master traders, and they've all went through the challenge and things like that. So they will manage the account for the client. You don't have to do anything. So when you pay your fee, we'll send you, once we get everything set up, we'll send you your login credentials. So if you want to log in on MT5 on your phone to see what the trader's doing, you can do that, as well as we will send we're using social trader tools as the copier. They will receive that link as well, so that they can, if they want to look on the web, they can look there and see their account, as well as just the master account, what trades we're taking and things like that. The clients will keep 50% of the profits made on the account total, and things like that. I think it's great because, like we talked about earlier, no other company currently is offering this. And I'm talking with more traders and things like that, who have their own academies, and like they have success as signal providers and things like that. And we have a couple traders right now going through the challenge for our April first launch. So at the top of every month is when a new batch will start. So this weekend is the last bit of signups, and then we're going to take this week coming up to get everything set up for March 1st. And then the traders, the account manager, master traders, are going to trade their accounts for them. And then April 1st, hopefully, like I said, the goal that I have for the master traders is for them to complete everything in the minimums. So that means that, getting the 10% in the minimum of 10 days and getting the 5% and trading it for the minimum of 20 days. So the goal is for each batch to be done every 30 days. But, that's in a perfect world. I understand that, some things might happen. It might be some drawdown. So it might be 31, 32 days or whatever. But it's not going to take the max amount of days because, I've had meetings and with all the master traders and explained to them, like, I am giving you a contract and doing this particular opportunity with you, and you need to hit these certain parameters because you are an elite trader. You're not a normal trader. And like, I'm not looking for you to make 5% a month on an account. Anybody can do that if they follow a decent signal group. Like, I'm looking for traders who have, I've talked to them, they've had success over, last couple of years to where they're averaging 10, 20%, 30% even. So it's like that, that's really what the program is. And, so everyone will, if you sign up for the program, once the account goes live, you'll, be signing a contract, just not a contract per se, but just understanding the terms that it's a 1-year agreement so that, like, we don't want people to, have the master trader pass the account for them. And they're like, oh yeah, I got it. And then you blow it. It's like, no, you should have just let them trade it. And you would have been fine. So it's like, that's what that program is. And, like we talked about earlier, like it's the goal is over this for the rest of this year is to, continue to branch out and like continue to, find good traders out there that can take the challenge and, can be consistent. We're thinking about next year, doing like, setting up like you want to become a master trader, like challenge or something where, maybe for like 6 or 7 months, we kind of, give some accounts out and we just not like other people's account, but we give them an account and we see like how they can trade it over the span of like 6 or 7 months and see if we can see that level of consistency that we're looking for. If you can consistently make 15% a month, maybe we'll, add you onto the batch or something like that. So I know a couple people on the team are like, yeah, we should do that and, start our own challenges. I'm like, maybe we'll see.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So in order to become a master trader, do they have to, you said 15%, do they have to make 15% every month, or what is the current requirement for them to be able to pass the requirement to be a master trader?
The current requirements to be a master trader, all of the master traders that we have on contract now, they have all been doing account management for years. So it's not like these are like the first set of accounts they've ever managed and they've only been traded their personal account. No, they all have their own academies, and we're working on the account management program page so that it'll show all of the different traders and their academies and things like that, and their analytics. So you can kind of click on each person's analytics and things like that. So we'll be having that added over the next couple of weeks and things like that. But like as a master trader, like what I'm looking for, is if literally if you're making more than 10%, like that's really what I'm looking for. Realistically, because like I said, even if you even if you're using minimum risk and if you're shooting for 1 to 2% a day, you're making more than 10% a month. So that's essentially what I'm looking for when I potentially talk to other elite traders that are out there to join the program. And I'm even open to algorithm traders and things like the people that have built programs. I was talking with one trader who built a program, things like that. It's a great program. It averages 30% like every single month. It's just the drawdown just doesn't sit too well with me. A lot of times, having a whole like algo trader or whatever, it's sometimes the drawdown can get excessively high. And it's like if you're trying to keep it like 5% or lower, that's kind of difficult depending on the like how many trades that thing is set up to do, or like what is it looking for to see a potential good trade to jump in and things like that, as well as understanding that you can't hedge, so you can't like be in the same pair and having to buy and sell and things like that. That's one of the rules that the my liquidity providers are like, yeah, we don't want that. And I'm like, well, okay, because that was a little bit of a for me, because I don't do it anymore, that but how I used to, like I would have buy and sell limits and it would be on the same pair, but like I might be in a buy, and then and then my sell limit is at like the highest level of like resistance, and it's like, nope, can't do that. So I'm like, okay, so yeah, I got to make sure no one's hedging out there. But it is set up in the app that it won't even let you do it. I mean, in MetaTrader 5. So I did put that limit on there. I am working on setting up we're working on setting up a error limit, because there is a max lot size exposure and things like that. It's high. Like for the $100,000 account, you can't have more than 20 lots open, and then for the 50,000, you can't have more than 10, and then 25 is 5, and so on and so on. But I had a couple traders, again, because people are just so focused on hitting that target within the first week. They're using high risk and major large lot sizes and things like that. So we had a couple of people that were breaking the rules. So we're working on kind of like setting it up in there to where it'll say like error, like no more lots. So because at the end of the day, like I don't want, like that's why I said, like I'm not in this to make money. I'm trying to set as many, give you as like, just like you're bowling. Hey, put those bumpers up. I'm trying to put the bumpers up so you can get that strike, so that you're not getting all these gutters and got to keep taking the challenge over and over again because you're breaking the rule. So I'm trying to see, even if you're on the edge of potentially breaking the rule, we're trying to set up all the software to where it can notify you and let you know, hey, don't do this, because you're right there. Like you're almost over the edge where you will have to pay this fee over again, and like start over. Because that's not what I want. I don't want someone to take the challenge 20 different times, because in my opinion, like that's ridiculous. We're working on adding a whole like course or whatever, just so for people who like maybe did fail, like, okay, you know what, take this course, we'll give you an account, it's a demo account, and if you are following the rules on this account and you take the course, we'll give you a free redo. Like that's something that I'm working on, because some people just need a little bit of education. It's not that they're a bad trader. Some people just need to get kind of like retweaked up here in the head to just understand like why that didn't work and why this does work and things like that. So that is something that we're working on to add this summer, and to just add like a whole kind of course program for people who have failed, and for us to cover the whole free redo type ordeal, so that they won't have to pay the whole $500 all over again. Like, hey, nope, but you got to go through the course, and this demo account we're giving you, you have to have this certain percentage, and then we'll give you a free redo, and things like that. So it's in the works.
Basically, it sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like there's very similar requirements to pass the normal challenge and get funded to being a master trader. So if someone were to maybe pass the master trader program when they maybe shouldn't have actually passed it, and maybe they have a bad month, or what is a requirement that they have to continue to uphold in order to stay within the master trader program? They have to continue to make 10% every month if they have a certain loss limit to be kicked out, or how does that work?
Oh, okay. So you're talking about basically if one of the actual account managers has like, a bad month and they don't hit the like target parameters.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Um, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like I didn't even think about that because um, yeah, I didn't think about that only because I mean, yeah, future profits are not guaranteed. We all know that aspect of trading that it is risky. Um, but the reason why I've selected the traders that I've selected is because after looking over all of their trades and seeing like watching them for over like a year and whatnot, 10%, averaging 10% was their lowest month. So even at their lowest month, they were still hitting the base the bare minimum that I wanted them to hit, which was 10%. So that's why it says on the site that the master traders average 10 to 30% or 10-30+%. So yeah, even if they had a bad month per se, they should still hit 10% because they know that they are being watched, and we're in constant communication with them on a weekly basis. So and they tell us too, like, because we understand we're human. Like I had one master trader, potential master trader, he was going through the program and then his grandfather passed away. So his attention span was not on trading in that moment because he had to pay for the funeral and all that stuff. And I was like, listen, I completely understand. I said, hey man, whenever you are ready, like no rush, whenever you're ready, let me know. We'll get you set up to go through the challenge again and things like that. Because we understand, like, there are some things that are just out of our control, like which is mainly death and weather catastrophes, because some of these traders do live in Florida, things like that. Hurricanes come through and things like that. Texas is going through the crazy stuff that they're going through right now. So it's like we completely understand that things happen. So if something like that was happening, we would, send out an email and let everybody know, like, hey, master trader had this going on, and someone else would take like step in that person's place to like manage those accounts until that trader was ready to get back into the flow of things.
That's absolutely incredible that you've found people that have their worst month is 10%. That's
Yeah.
I have negative months sometimes, not very often, but I definitely do have them sometimes. So that's pretty incredible. They just have 10% as their very worst. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
it took a lot of it took a lot of searching, and that it really just kind of buckles down to like, you know and like I've told them, it's like, hey, now that you guys are managing accounts for FXSeed, like, like I had one guy, he's like, oh man, like 20 pips, that's small change to me. And I'm like, whoa, no, that's not small change. That is change. That adds up. So they understand, like, when something goes in profit, protect that, like start to move that stop loss and things like that. And like I said, it's just mainly what I look for them is 1 to 2% growth, per day. Which majority of us as traders, even in negative times, we've all had a moment where a trade was in profit and that greed kicks in, and you're like, you know what? This thing can go to 10,000. I'm gonna hold it. Like, no, you're at $2,000. Why are you trying to make 8,000 more off of one trade? So it is, it's that really what it buckles down to. And like they understand, like, hey, if I'm up this week, like, like I said, because once you go live, if you're up, 10% and it's the first week, we'll send an email out to the account manager and we'll let them know, hey, go ahead and chill. Like, go ahead and chill the rest of this week because let's regroup, come back next week because like right now, like we're good. Like let's regroup, come back next week, and let's use smaller risks and then build it and build on that 10% even more. Because like I said, the goal for every trader, but the goal for these managed accounts is to make sure that they all get that $1 million max out. And the goal is since people are starting in March with this first batch, like the goal is for this first batch to be done and to be all completely maxed out by September. Like that, those are realistic goals that I have set for the team and the traders know, because at the end of the day, it's not difficult because even if the master trader made 12%, if he's managing my account and I know like, hey, if I leave this 10% in, and next month, my account will be doubled, I'm probably going to do, to be honest, I'm probably just, if I had my account managed, I would be leaving everything in every single time. Like, now if he had a crazy good month where they have 30%, okay, then yeah, I'll take it. But, like anything like where it's 10% or 12%, just leave it in because that next month you got more for that trader to build on. And like once you get maxed out at $1 million, 20% on $1 million is 200,000. I mean, you getting half of that. So it's like essentially, and a lot of clients have already emailed like, yeah, I'm just going to leave it all in till it hits $1 million so that I can, because they're like, hey, this is extra money. Like this is going to be a stream of passive income for the family and things like that. One thing I do want to state is right now is one account. Right now, until we get these other plans rolling, it is one account per person. So because like I said, the account management and the regular FXSeed funded, they're the same plan. It's just one, either you can take the option to manage it yourself or you can take the option to have it managed by a master trader. You cannot pick master trader and then be like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna sign up for the perk. So the one way people are getting around it, like I said, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm telling you the gray area. I'm telling you the gray area. The gray area is it like the master program, like the account management program can be in your name. And then if you're married, the personal program can be in your wife's name. Or if you have a mom, or a dad, or an uncle, or an aunt, it can it's one per person. It's not one per household. I'm not about to say, oh, this one house can only have one account. I can't control that. Because some people some people might have a 15,000 square foot house where the whole family could live in there. You never know. So I'm not about to just lock it down to one address. So, but yeah, like that's the gray area, as well as if you have a business, you can put one account in your business name. The only thing with that is once the account goes live and I get all of the required documentation that I need from each person to, set up, like all of the legal stuff for payment and things like that. Your name just can't. So there has to be someone else that, has like ownership in that business things and, things like that. When it comes to you putting the business name down for you to have an account for your business name. But yeah, like I just wanted to stress that because I know people are like, yeah, can I get both? No, one or the other.
So what is the biggest reason that you have that limitation of one or the other?
Right now it's just one or the other, mainly because this is before I had even thought of the account management program. This was just for this like doing it themselves. I didn't want people to be stacking accounts like you can do with FTMO, because you do that with FTMO because you get a max of 300,000. You can't trade $100,000 account and then it gets scaled up to 300. No, you have to buy 3 individual $100,000 accounts and then they combine them to be one. The reason why I was like, well, I don't want that here, and you don't need to do that, is because your account is getting scaled up. Like, there's no need for you to like buy 3 accounts and then be like, oh well, I'm gonna just scale up my 3 to 3 million. No, because that's more risk for me. Because if you have a trade copier and you're doing it yourself, and all of those accounts are getting the same level of risk, all of those accounts are losing the same as well. So that's the main reason why I did it, to kind of protect me from risk, and to and from the client's perspective, to protect the client, to not have to be paying $1,500, to get 3 accounts when you only need 1 account. To Let's be completely honest. Like I said, once we start rolling out these new plans and the instant funding, then you can get like you can have the account management program, and then you can have one of the standard plans, and then you can have the instant funding, because those can all be scaled up to $1 million. So you can have a total of $3 million, rolling for you, but it's the aspect of it not just being all in one place. So because the standard plan is going to have a different leverage, and then the instant funding is going to have different leverage, as well as different rules and things like that. So it's all to protect everybody, not just to protect me, but to protect everybody.
Would you do you currently allow, or will you allow in the future, for people to use multiple of the master traders?
Yeah, that can be. I mean, yeah, like we could make it available for the other plans when those start rolling out. So if someone had a standard plan and they wanted it to be managed as well. So yeah, that's not an issue at all. Yeah, we could definitely do that. See, you're giving me ideas. I didn't even think of that. You're helping grow the business.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool to be able to invest in multiple of the master traders, in case one of the master traders does have a kind of a poor month, just so happened to be, and then one of the other ones maybe had a really good month. It'd be nice to be able to average that out by having multiple master traders accounts in your that you're matching. Basically, that'd be really nice.
That is definitely doable. We can definitely do that.
Is that something that you currently have, or is that something in the future?
That's something that as soon as another plan becomes available, it'll just roll right with it. So
okay,
yeah, as soon as we make another, as soon as we drop this standard plan coming up, we can just make sure, like, hey, this can be a part of it as well. So
okay.
yeah, so that's, as soon as a plan becomes available, that option will be made available.
Very nice. And then is that, do you know the approximate time, how approximately long that will take for that to be available?
The new plan should be rolling at the end of March. So basically April 1st, when the second batch of master traders roll, should have everything set for the standard account. Because like I said, I'm just trying to see what's out there that's being offered. I know Talent Funding just made a new, was it Talent Funding that made a new? Yeah, Talent Funding just made a new kind of program or whatever. So I'm kind of looking at that, looking at some other companies that are out there, just to see like what people are kind of interested in, as well as we've been doing some polls within our own Telegram channels and things like that, to kind of get a feel for what people will be interested in a like funding company and things like that. So what new plans and things like that, because I don't want to just have 5 different plans and they're all the same thing. I kind of want to make sure this one is a little bit different, and this one caters to a particular style of trader, and this one might cater to another style. So it's in the works, and definitely should be done with all of that April 1st, on April Fool's Day.
Well, I hope this isn't a joke.
Right. Be like, hey, we got a new account coming out. April Fool is actually coming out April 2nd, actually. Like, yeah. So, but yeah, definitely at the top of April for sure.
Okay, very cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
No, you're fine.
Is there anything else that you want to share about any upcoming plans, or any other things that you want to share for the video?
I can't think of anything. Are you sure you've asked everything that needs to be? I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything. Oh, well, we are working on this. This will probably come out towards the end of the year, maybe top of the year. We are working on I'm going to call it the challenge bot. Quote, maybe we might change the name. Right now, currently the challenge bot, I'm working on a algorithm for it'll only be for the account management side of things, where we're going to be really hammering in, putting a lot of funds into getting a bot that can trade the account. It'll be like 5, 6 different bots, whatever, like depending on the bot that you choose or whatever, that can pass the challenge for you. And we're gonna back test it, keep back testing. We're back testing it now, but the goal is for this to be like so that I can market and say 100% chances that you will pass the challenge because this bot will pass the challenge 100% of the time. So that's definitely something that we are definitely in research and development on, just because at the end of the day, like some people there are a lot of great traders out there, but there are a lot of traders who don't do great with time limits. And I've noticed, and just with all the funding companies out there, which is why City Trader Embrum has their there's like a whole year, because they understand, like, listen, 30 days for some people who are not really some people who don't like to be put on a time limit, and then some people don't trade unless they see opportunity. So if you only trade maybe 7 days out of the month, like, there's no point of you taking a challenge, because you're like, oh man, well, there's no point of me taking a challenge because I only trade 7 days out of the month, and I got 30 days to make it or whatever. So that's definitely something that we're working on. Maybe we might offer it for the regular personal accounts. Don't know yet, because with that I don't really know the success of that trader on the other end of that. So it's mainly going to be for the account management program, so that the master traders can just focus on live accounts, so that they don't have to worry about all right, 30 days, I gotta trade these demos, and then at the same time I got live accounts, and then next month, cool, now I got 2 batches of live accounts, and then I got a demo. So we're definitely working on that, so that the account managers can just strictly trade live accounts, and then that way, at the end of the day, we can kind of set it up to where it hits the targets in the bare minimum, so that people can be moving through it quickly, and that they can get that 50%. So that is one thing I did want to mention. So if there are any algo traders out there that have some algorithms that you want me to try out, we can try them out, and if they work, I will gladly pay you for them. We can work something out. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for what is to come, man, with FXSeed.
Yeah, me too. It sounds really interested. I'm especially interested about following the people who are getting more than 10% a month. That sounds something I'm very interested in.
Yes, I cannot wait. We're going to be finishing up that page that showcases everybody here over the next couple of weeks, and yeah, it's going to be great. It's definitely going to be great.
Is without the showcase page, is it ready now, or do we have to wait for the showcase page to get started with that?
It's not ready now. I got like a couple links, like analytic links from like one of the traders. He took a $50,000 account, and he made the 10% in one day. One of the master traders, his what's your name? His Instagram is FX Hurricane. FX Hurricane. He's a great trader. He's been doing account management for a very long time. I mean, even before I started FXSeed, when I was searching for different traders and things like that, when I was still kind of writing everything down, I went and had him manage an account for me, gave him like $500, and my guy turned into 2,000, you know, within a month. And I was just like, wow, like, yeah. And used like really good risk. Like, it wasn't like he was trading and had like no stop losses and was using really high risk. He traded the right pairs and found the right movement. So it was just, you know, he just really knows what he's doing. He's a great guy. So he's one of them. And then, you know, I gotta find all of my FX books and things like that. I'm doing trading as well. I am only doing indices though on mine. Mine is only US 30 and NAS 100s. So any traders that will be connected to my account will only have indices on theirs. Forex League, they are one of the other traders. Their team. So it's like 3 guys within their team. So their signal guy, and then I think Angelo and Nick are going to be doing some stuff. And then there's this guy named KJ McLaurin. His thing is Liquid FX. That's his academy. He's a great trader, great young guy. He's been on Trading Nut a couple times for some interviews. He's a great guy. He's on there. We're talking with signal provider Wizard FX out in California, and then talking with another signal provider as well to see if they can do some account management stuff for us. So a lot of great stuff in the works. But yeah, like I just want to get all the information so we can put it all out at one time for the page, so that everybody can kind of go there and kind of just see what is to come. But yeah, like I said, man, we are excited. March it's been a long 2 months for us to get to March 1st, but we are almost there. And like I said, just seeing like the amount of clients we had January 1st to now, it's like it was just me. Like it was just me, and I think my best friend. And now literally yes, 60. Yeah, now we're literally at 170 clients right now. So there are 107 people that are currently signed up for the Master Trader program, and then we got about 65 people who are currently just doing the regular challenge themselves. So I mean, it's amazing to know, like, hey, haven't even done any marketing for, and you know, I mean, this is the first interview with somebody that, you know, like has a following that does you know, funding prop firm interviews and things like that. So like I said, like I'm excited to see you know, the next time we talk, probably in the summertime, to be like, hey man, we're at 1,000 people now, everybody's getting paid, this is good, it's good. So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm real excited for the future, man. It's definitely gonna be great.
That's so exciting. So one last question, but you said you have 107 people in the Master Traders program. So that's all people that are applying to become Master Traders?
No, these are all of the accounts that are going to be managed March 1st.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. And where can if someone's interested in that, where can they go to become part of that?
The website, www.myfxseed.com, and it's all on the website. We made it kind of like a one drop down, but there are like click pages you can go. But yeah, you just scroll to the website. It talks about the regular FXC funding program, and then it talks about the account management program, where it breaks down, where it talks about the master traders and the potential risks and things like that. And it talks about the capital growth and all of that stuff, like all the risk management, as well as all the rules that we have. I know some of them might suck to some people, but they are there to protect you and to protect the business, because I want everybody to succeed in the long term. So we put some of these rules in place to keep you on a good, steady, narrow path.
Very cool. So thanks so much for your time, and I appreciate you talking about FXSeed.
No problem, man. Thanks, Blake. We'll hope to get in touch with you soon, man.